Alien princess punished by forced marriage, falls for human's touch. The room was silent. Elira stood tall, her arms tied behind her back with glowing silver cuffs. She wore armor, but it was broken in some places. Her long dark hair moved slightly with the wind from the open council chamber. Her bright violet eyes stared forward. She showed no fear. Before her stood the High Council of Valari Prime, her people. Her rulers. "You broke our laws," said the leader of the council, an old alien named Rollin. His voice was calm but cold. "You refused to follow orders. You attacked a command ship. You shamed our name." Elira did not speak. "You are a warrior. A princess. You must learn control." Rollin's voice became harder. "Your punishment begins now." Elira raised one eyebrow. "What? Prison?" "No," said Rollin. "You will live with a human. As his wife." The room gasped. Even the guards looked shocked. Elira blinked slowly, then laughed. It was a low, dangerous laugh. "You want me to marry a human?" she asked, smiling in disbelief. "Is this a joke?" "It is not a joke," Rollin said. "You will live on Earth. You will become his bondmate. You will serve 1 year. If you fail, we will erase your mind." Elira's smile disappeared. "Why a human?" "Because they are weak," Rollin said. "Because they are soft. You must learn their ways, or lose yourself forever." Guards grabbed her arms. She didn't fight. But inside, she was burning with rage. Earth, 1 week later. Aiden stood outside his small home, watching the sky. He had quiet eyes, a strong build, and a gentle face. His hands were shaking a little. The government had called him a week ago. "She's arriving today," they said. "Be kind. Be careful." A spaceship landed in the empty field near his house. The door opened slowly. Elira stepped out. She was tall, proud, beautiful, and clearly not human. Her eyes glowed. Her skin had a faint shine. She looked at Aiden like he was an insect. He took a deep breath and held out his hand. "Hi. I'm Aiden." Elira looked at his hand. She didn't touch it. "I will not serve you," she said flatly. "I didn't ask you to," Aiden replied. Their eyes met. Something strange passed between them, something neither could explain. Later that day. Inside the house, Elira sat silently on the couch. She looked at the walls, the furniture, the small lights. Everything looked old and boring to her. "This is where you live?" she asked, her voice full of disgust. "Yes," Aiden said. "It's not much, but it's home. I've seen prison cells more interesting than this." Aiden gave a small smile. "You can think of it as a prison, if you want. But I'm not your jailer." Elira didn't reply. She stood and walked to the window. Outside, she saw a bird sitting on a branch. It sang softly. "Strange world," she said quietly. Midnight. Elira lay on the bed, eyes open. She couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about that moment, when Aiden offered his hand. Their fingers didn't even touch fully. But still, something had moved inside her. A small spark. It made no sense. She turned on her side. In the dark corner of the room, she saw Aiden sitting in a chair. He wasn't asleep. He was just watching her. Quiet, calm. "Why are you watching me?" she asked. "I don't know," he said honestly. "Maybe I'm just making sure you're okay. I don't need your help." "I know." They both fell silent. Minutes passed. Elira closed her eyes, but the feeling didn't go away. That strange warmth in her chest. She had fought battles in space, crushed rebel fleets, faced monsters from the deep zones. But a simple human's presence was making her heart beat faster? She didn't like it. She didn't understand it. In the morning, Alira woke up to a strange smell. She walked into the kitchen and saw Aiden making breakfast. "Do you eat this every day?" she asked. "Usually," he said. "Want to try?" She frowned. "I don't eat human food." He placed a plate in front of her. "Then pretend it's poison and see if you survive." For the first time, she smiled. Just a little. Aiden's house was small, but quiet. It sat at the edge of a forest, far from the city. Trees whispered in the wind, birds flew across the sky, and clouds moved slowly like they were watching something unfold. Alira stood in the hallway, arms crossed, staring at a family photo on the wall. "Are these your parents?" she asked. Aiden nodded. "They passed away a few years ago." She didn't say sorry. She didn't believe in sympathy. But still, she looked at the photo longer than expected. The days were strange. Alira didn't understand human life. Why did Aiden water the same plant every morning? Why did he sit quietly reading books instead of training? Why did he cook food when there were pills that gave energy faster? Everything felt slow. Too soft. Too peaceful. But slowly, her mind started to notice the silence wasn't empty. It was calming. She explored the house. Aiden never stopped her from going anywhere. He let her walk through every room, even though she didn't ask permission. One day, she found a door in the basement. It was locked. "What's inside?" she asked. Aiden looked up from the couch. His voice was steady, but softer. "Just old things. Memories I haven't faced yet." "Do you hide secrets, human?" "Don't we all?" he said. Alira didn't press further, but her curiosity grew. They ate together. It became a habit. Aiden cooked. Alira sat across from him. She didn't always eat, but she listened. He told stories about his childhood, about Earth, about silly things like getting chased by bees as a kid. Alira said little. But she laughed once when he spilled sauce on his shirt. A real laugh. Not cruel. Aiden stared at her. "What?" she said, wiping her face. "Nothing," he replied. "You just look different when you smile." The touch, again. That night, while washing dishes, Alira dropped a glass. It shattered on the floor. She bent down to pick up the pieces, and her finger got cut. Aiden rushed over. "Let me see." She pulled away. "I'm not weak." "I didn't say you were," he said softly. He reached out and gently held her hand. His touch was careful, warm, human. For a second, she let him. Her breath caught in her chest. She pulled back quickly and walked away. But she couldn't stop the feeling spreading through her chest like fire. Midnight again. Alira stood outside under the stars. She didn't need sleep like humans. She watched the moon, the trees, the wind. Aiden came and stood next to her. Neither spoke. Finally, Alira said, "This place, it's not what I expected." "What did you expect?" "Pain. Chains. Fear. Not peace." Aiden looked up. "Maybe peace is the real punishment for people like us." She looked at him. "What do you mean?" But he didn't answer. He just gave a half smile and walked back inside. She had a dream. That night, for the first time, Alira dreamed. She stood in a cold metal chamber, screaming orders. Her soldiers fired at a human ship. It exploded. She laughed. Then, she turned, and saw Aiden standing there, watching the flames. He said only one thing, "Was it worth it?" She woke up sweating. The next morning, she walked into the kitchen and saw Aiden reading an old notebook. "What's that?" "Just stories," he said, closing it quickly. She wanted to ask more, but she didn't. Instead, she said, "I want to learn to cook." He looked surprised. "Really? Teach me. Before I change my mind." The morning started to feel less cold. Elira no longer avoided the kitchen. She stood beside Aiden, learning to flip pancakes, watching how he moved. She didn't smile often, but she didn't frown as much either. When she burned her finger on the pan, she didn't curse. She just looked at Aiden and said, "This is why warriors don't cook." He laughed. She didn't expect that laugh to stay in her ears for the rest of the day. Small moments. The change didn't happen all at once. It came in quiet pieces. Like when Aiden handed her a sweater because it was raining outside. Or when he put a plant in her room, "It needs someone tough to grow with," he said. Or when she walked past a mirror and saw herself smiling without meaning to. She began to sit closer when they talked. She started asking him questions, not just about Earth, but about him. A quiet storm. One night, thunder rolled across the sky. The lights flickered. Elira stood by the window, arms folded. "We don't have storms like this on Valari," she said. Aiden walked up beside her. "Do they scare you?" She looked at him. "Fear is for the weak." Another flash of lightning lit up the room. She didn't move, but Aiden noticed her fingers tighten around her arm. He didn't say anything. He just stayed near. Sickness. 2 days later, Elira woke up dizzy. Her head hurt. Her skin was too warm. Aiden found her in the hallway, leaning against the wall. "You're sick," he said. "Impossible," she whispered. "Valerians don't get sick." "Well," he said gently, "you're not on Valari anymore." He helped her to the couch. She tried to push him away, but her strength was weak. He brought her water. Covered her with a blanket. Sat beside her without speaking. For the first time, Elira didn't argue. Memories. As she rested, Aiden left the room. She heard him in the kitchen. She sat up and looked around. Her eyes landed on the small wooden box he always kept on the shelf. It had a silver lock, but it was slightly open. She pulled it down. Inside was a photo, young Aiden, in a military uniform. A letter. A report. Stamped, classified, survivor, first contact incident. Elira's eyes widened. She remembered that mission. Her fleet had destroyed a human base 10 years ago. No survivors were reported. But someone had survived. Him. He returned. She quickly placed the box back as Aiden came in with soup. "You never told me you were in the war," she said. He paused. Set the bowl down. "No point. You wouldn't care." "Why did you agree to this marriage?" she asked, voice low. Aiden looked at her, long and deep. "I thought maybe, if I lived with one of you, I'd stop hating you." "And did you?" He smiled slightly. "I don't hate you, Elira. I think I'm starting to understand you." She looked away. Her chest felt tight. Why did his words feel like a knife and a bandage at the same time? That night, she couldn't sleep. She sat on the porch under the stars. Her skin still felt warm, but not from sickness. From something else. Aiden stepped outside. "You okay?" "No," she whispered. "Nothing is okay. I don't understand this place. I don't understand you. Or me." She stood. "Why do you care so much? I was your enemy." "You were," Aiden said. "But you're not anymore." She stared at him. What if I still am? Then I'll still sit with you. Just like this. The first real touch. As the wind moved past them, Alira stepped closer, just one step. She reached out slowly and touched his hand. No lightning. No magic. Just warmth. Real. Steady. Human. She didn't speak. Neither did he. But both knew something had changed. Alira couldn't stop thinking about that box. About the photo. The report. The words, first contact survivor. She had touched his hand the night before. Felt the warmth of someone she no longer saw as weak. And now? Now she wasn't sure who she was anymore. The secret room. The next morning, Aiden left early for the market. Alira watched his ship disappear in the sky, then turned and walked straight to the basement. She stood in front of the locked door. No more wondering. Her fingers sparked with energy as she placed them near the lock. A soft pulse. The door clicked open. Dust floated in the air as the door creaked. Inside was a small room. One table. A few boxes. A screen, off, but cracked. The walls had photos, blurry shots of Valerian warships. Reports. Newspaper clippings. Even sketches, of her kind. On the far wall was a note. The girl with violet eyes led the attack. Her heart dropped. He had drawn her face. The return. When Aiden came back, Alira was waiting in the kitchen. She held the paper in her hand. You knew who I was from the start, she said, voice shaking. Aiden froze. Yes. You were on that planet, she whispered. That base we destroyed, that was yours. He nodded once. I was a tech. Just a kid. They said no one survived. But I did. You lied to me. I never lied, Aiden said quietly. I just didn't want to start with hate. Her fists clenched. You married me because you wanted revenge? No. I married you because I wanted to stop feeling revenge. Anger. Alira's hands lit with electric energy. The walls vibrated. You should have told me. I was going to, he said. But I didn't know how. I didn't want you to run. She stepped forward, her face close to his. You don't know me, human. He looked into her eyes. Maybe not fully. But I've seen who you're becoming. And I believe in her. That made her step back. Her powers faded. She turned and left the house without another word. In the forest. Alira walked deep into the woods, past the trees, past the quiet. She found a cliff and sat there, staring down at the river below. She hated this. She hated feeling. On Valari, she was a weapon. She followed orders. She didn't ask questions. Here. She felt like she was being reprogrammed from the inside. And Aiden, he was the glitch in her system. Flashbacks. She closed her eyes, and memories returned. Explosions. Screams. Human soldiers running. One young boy hiding under metal debris. She remembered him. He had looked up at her as her team passed. Violet eyes had met soft, brown ones. He had lived. And now he was here. She gripped the grass under her. For the first time, she wasn't sure if she was the hero in her own story. Nightfall. Alira didn't return until late. Aiden was still awake. Sitting by the fireplace, staring into the flames. She walked in, slow and silent. I hated you, she said. That day. That mission. We were told humans were dangerous. Monsters. Aiden didn't look up. And now, he asked. She sat beside him, not too close, but not far. Now I'm not sure what's real anymore. He finally looked at her. You are. You're real. Right here. A long silence. Then she asked, do you still see the girl with violet eyes when you look at me? No, he whispered. I see the woman who stayed when she could have run. Who touched my hand even though she didn't have to. She didn't reply. But a tear fell down her cheek. Just one. And she didn't wipe it away. The days after their talk were quiet. But not empty. Alira didn't speak much. Aiden didn't ask questions. But something hung between them, like heat in the air before lightning strikes. The next morning, everything felt too still. Birds didn't sing. The sky had no wind. And deep inside Alira's chest, something told her, danger is close. The signal. Aiden was planting flowers near the porch when Alira's communicator, long deactivated, lit up with a red pulse. Her blood turned cold. She picked it up and saw the message in glowing Valerian script. High-level energy detected. Rogue agent located. Code, bring back dead or alive. She dropped the device. Aiden noticed. What is it? She didn't answer. Just looked into the forest. Like she already knew, someone was coming. The tracker. That night, Alira climbed to the rooftop. Her eyes glowed faint purple as she scanned the forest with a quiet hum of bioradar. And she saw it. A small heat signature. Moving fast. Humanoid. Quiet. Precise. Hunter, she whispered. Not just any soldier. A Valerian elite. Like her. Maybe better. Torn. Alira paced back and forth. Hands glowing. Jaw tight. I have to leave, she said out loud. Aiden stood in the doorway. What? If I stay, he'll find me. And he'll kill you. I'm not leaving, Aiden said firmly. You don't understand. This isn't like before. This one, he doesn't ask questions. Aiden stepped forward. Then let him come. She stared at him like he was insane. You'll die. He reached for her wrist. Maybe. But not without fighting beside you. The change in Aiden. Later that night, Alira caught Aiden staring at his hands. They were glowing. Just slightly. Golden veins under the skin. Faint, but real. She grabbed his wrist. When did this start? Today. After I touched the plant in the yard. I felt something move inside me. Her expression darkened. You're absorbing my energy, she whispered. It's rewriting your biology. He tried to joke. Am I becoming alien? She didn't laugh. This isn't a gift, Aiden. It might kill you. The arrival. 3 nights later, it happened. A ship didn't land. It crashed. Fire lit the sky just over the ridge. Alira ran outside, already armoring her skin with energy. Her hair glowed bright violet. Her eyes like lightning. Aiden followed, despite her warning. Through the smoke, a figure walked. Tall. Silent. Armored in black. Valerian. Marked with red scars of command. The bounty hunter. He raised a glowing blade and pointed it at Alira. You were warned, General Alira. Come peacefully. Or burn. She began to notice things. How her heart beat faster when he was near. How her skin warmed when he smiled. How his voice stayed in her ears long after he stopped speaking. The fire inside. Valerians weren't built to feel like this. Not for humans. Not for anyone. Alira's people had removed emotions through training. Through control. But now, she wasn't sure if the fire in her chest was a glitch or something else. One night, she stood outside, hand on her chest, trying to steady her breathing. Her fingers sparked with light. "I'm changing," she whispered. "And I don't know if I should be afraid." Aiden's collapse. That same night, she found him in the kitchen, on the floor. "Aiden," she shouted, kneeling beside him. His skin was pale. Sweaty. Breathing, but weak. She lifted him easily, carried him to the couch, and placed her hand on his forehead. It burned. Too hot. She had seen fevers before, but this wasn't normal. This wasn't just sickness. Something was wrong. The energy transfer. Without thinking, she pressed her glowing palm to his chest. Her energy flowed into him, soft, steady, careful. A spark passed between them, and his eyes shot open. "Elira," he whispered. What are you doing?" "Saving you," she said, voice shaking. "Maybe." As the energy calmed, Aiden's color returned. But Elira's hand shook. Her heart raced. She pulled away and sat back. He stared at her. That felt like lightning. But gentle. She looked away. "We weren't supposed to connect like this." Questions rise. The next morning, Aiden seemed better, but changed. He moved slowly, touched things like they felt different. He stared out windows longer. He blinked more when the sun hit his face. Elira watched him carefully. "I think my energy's affecting you," she finally said. "Maybe," Aiden replied, "but not in a bad way." She narrowed her eyes. "Humans aren't meant to carry Valerian power. Your body might reject it." He smiled. "Then I'll just have to be the first who doesn't." Her chest tightened again. Was he serious? Or just stupid? Or brave? The bond strengthens. That night, they sat on the floor beside the fireplace. No words for a while. Then Aiden turned to her. "I don't want to lie anymore. I feel something for you." Elira looked at the flames. "So do I." "You're not scared?" She laughed once, soft and bitter. "I've fought beasts twice my size. I've flown ships through war zones. But this?" She looked at him. "This scares me." "Me too," he said. "But I don't want to stop." He reached for her hand. This time, she didn't pull away. A kiss, almost. Their faces were close. Too close. His breath brushed her lips. Her heart pounded. Her fingers glowed, but she didn't stop it. Their foreheads touched. Not a kiss. Not yet. But the space between them had vanished. And neither wanted it back. The forest burned. Elira stood between Aiden and the hunter. Her heart was thudding like a war drum. The Valerian elite stepped forward, blade humming. "You've betrayed your kind, Elira." She said nothing. Her eyes glowed. Her skin shimmered with energy. She wasn't just Valerian anymore. She was something more, because of him. Aiden, breathing hard behind her, was glowing brighter now. His veins pulsed gold. His eyes burned amber. The energy was rising inside him like a second heartbeat. The fight begins. The bounty hunter charged. A blast of red light shot toward Elira, but she deflected it with her bare hand. Sparks exploded in the air. Aiden reached out, and the energy inside him responded. He didn't know how. But his hand pulsed with gold, and he pushed, sending a wave of force at the attacker. The hunter was thrown back. Elira looked at Aiden. "You're adapting too fast." He smiled. "I'm just trying to keep up with my wife." The battle of two worlds. Elira and the bounty hunter clashed, blow after blow, sparks flying. Trees shook. The ground cracked. But he was trained to kill her. And she was trained never to lose. When the hunter knocked her down, Aiden stepped between them. "I won't let you take her." The hunter laughed. "You're not even fully human anymore. You're an experiment." "Maybe," Aiden said. "But this experiment loves her." Then he roared, and golden light burst from his chest, hitting the hunter full force. The blast sent him flying across the field. The turning point. The hunter was bleeding. His armor cracked. He stood, furious, charging again. But Alira had recovered. Floating inches above the ground now, arms glowing bright white. Aiden beside her, burning gold. Together, they raised their hands. Together, they released their light. Valerian violet. Human gold. It collided with the hunter, and this time, there was no getting up. He vanished in the explosion of light and heat. The forest fell silent. The war was over. The aftermath. Aiden dropped to one knee. The energy was fading. Alira rushed to him, holding his face. "Stay with me." He looked up at her, smiling weakly. "Worth it." "You stupid, brave human," she whispered, crying softly. He touched her cheek. "I love you." And then he passed out. Days later. He lived. Barely. Alira stayed by his side day and night. Fed him. Watched over him. Protected him. And when he finally opened his eyes again, he looked at her the way no one else ever had. Like she was home. 1 year later. The forest had grown back. Aiden's powers came and went like the tide. Not fully alien. Not fully human. Something new. Alira was still hunted by her people, but less now. Rumors spread of her strength, and her mercy. They rebuilt the home. Planted new flowers. Grew old together, one quiet day at a time.